Good morning, all. Tri-Glide Ed here. What we're going to be talking about this morning is an issue that I've seen on some of the Facebook pages concerning Harley Tri-Glides. As a matter of fact, mine is a 2020 Tri-Glide Ultra. Bought it last July, and it was probably a month or so after we'd bought it. Myself, my friend Harvey, and Mike, we was going for a ride somewhere, and we left out of Mike's house. And I told the fellow, I said, wait a minute, I heard something. So I stopped my Tri-Glide on the side of the road. We live out in the country, wasn't no traffic coming. Got out, looked, my trunk lid was down. I thought, well, Ed, you didn't shut the thing good enough. So I shut it back. Problem solved. About 8 weeks ago, something like that, I was meeting my good friend Harvey, who y'all have met on some of my videos. He and I were meeting at Dairy Queen here in Ferrum to go for a ride over to the $100 store, Harley Davidson, over in Roanoke Valley, Harley Davidson. And I pull in, and Harvey says, Ed, your trunk lid's down. I said, I'll be daggone, because I knew I'd checked it and it was shut. So long story short, that afternoon we got back up to Harvey's house. We went up to Harvey's and we fixed this thing. And I want to explain to you the problem that I had, and maybe y'all might think, well, maybe it's conducive to what issue you've been having. I've seen on Facebook pages people are taking duct tape and tape these things shut, blue painter's tape. But I'll tell you, we paid too much money to be relied on tape. And when I bought mine, I bought it brand new. And it sure went through me like a dose of salts that I was having the issue. As a matter of fact, that day when we got over to the Harley Davidson place, went back to the service, technician come outside, and what he said was I was probably slamming this trunk lid shut. I told him, yeah, he's probably right. But he said you're supposed to just push it up, then give it a final push right near the end. And I'll show y'all here in a little bit what I'm talking about. But myself and my friend Harvey, especially Harvey, I've told y'all before, he's mechanically inclined. He's a maintenance man, been doing it for years. So he and I fixed this thing. And I want to show you what we did. Maybe you can relate to it. I want to show y'all what one of the first things I noticed on my trunk, and the button that you push, or you use to lock it, push it to open it, was, and I should have known, but I didn't. When I got this thing, I would push this button in, and that button would stay in. I thought, well, that's normal. The button would stay in. I'd open this up. Then when I shut it, and I saw some things on Facebook, said you had to slam it. I didn't slam it real hard, but I shut it hard enough to where, it was shut. Well, then I did notice that this pin, or push button, would come out right there. I said, well, I guess that's the way it's supposed to. You push it in, it stays in. You open your trunk, you get in, get out, have what you want. Slam it shut, and that'll sort of pop back out. But then I come to realize about 8 weeks ago that ain't exactly the right way to do it. Especially when the Harley guy says, well, you're supposed to get it right up here and then just push it. So, Harvey says, Ed, that thing might need adjusting. Of course, me with my mechanical ability, I said, what? And that's when we went over to Harvey's house after our ride. And I'm going to show you what we did. And I'm going to show you what I used and what we used to fix this thing. So when we got over to Harvey's, first thing he did, he went and got this right here called liquid wrench. Now, this we purchased at, he had got his Advance Auto here in Rocky Mount, Virginia. So I stopped by a week or so ago, got me a can of this stuff. This isn't a sponsorship. This isn't, ain't getting paid to say Advance Auto or to use this stuff. But he says this is what he uses on stuff like this. And I can understand a lot of people take, if they, for instance, a lock at your home or something, they shoot a little WD-40 down in it, make it work pretty good. Well, it does for a while. But the thing about WD-40 is it attracts dirt. You got to be careful That's just something I just happen to know. When you're working on locks, you don't want to spray just typical WD-40 down the lock. Yeah, it'll work for a while, but yeah, it could gum it up also. And that's not a downplay on WD-40. I got 2 cans sitting in my garage right here. But Harvey says use this. It's an anti-sling penetrant liquid wrench. Like I say, I'm not sponsored by anybody, but this is what he used. This is what I got. Now let me show you. So the problem was I pressed this in, as I mentioned, and it would stay in. The trunk would come open. Okay. So Harvey says, let's look at it, Ed. So we did. And right here, I just happen to have these 2 tools in here, which I went and got to use. Right here is a 1/2 inch lock nut. As you can see, this 1/2 inch wrench fits it just real good. We loosened that lock nut right here, and on this shaft there's 2 flat spots. You can take a pair of channel locks, crescent wrench, ever what you got, and adjust this. So we loosened the lock nut, turn this out maybe 1/8 of a turn, maybe a quarter, tighten the lock nut back up, push it up in here. And this little, as a matter of fact, I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to show you this right here. And as you can see, this right here makes contact with the groove on the shaft. And I'll show you that here in a second. But I just want to zoom in on this right here. What I was noticing when we was up at Harvey's was when this was pushed in and it stayed in, even though the lid was down, very, very slowly, this thing would start to come down. And I mean very, very slowly, it would start to come down. That's what wasn't making contact with the knob here. This thing was so slow that, you'd shut it and you'd think, well, it should be shut. But it hadn't made contact with the groove here to keep it down. It was very slow. So what we did, we took some of this liquid wrench, shot up in here. Then also I shot some right around this groove here. Had my rag, good old Microsoft rag here, tail, what you call it. Made sure I got any excess off, etc. Did that several times. Then we adjusted this, the lock nut, unloosened it, moved this. Let me make sure you're seeing that too. Again, what I did, I took the liquid wrench here, shot up in here several times. Then I shot up also around here. I take my micro towel, just dab the excess off. And it's worked fine to this day. Now, when you adjusting this, I would only adjust it maybe 1/8 of a turn, maybe a quarter. Tighten your lock nut back down, and you can push it in and see if it's making contact with the groove here. This is where this metal piece here clicks into place right here. And let me show you. I'm going to shut this thing, and I'm going to show you the proper way that this should work. If you got to slam it and it still don't work, like I said, we pay too much money to have something where this trunk won't shut. Now, wouldn't that be something if you had this thing just plumb full of stuff, and you're going down the highway, and you done gone 50, 60, 100 miles, maybe 150 miles, so, well, I believe I need some gas, and you stop, and you get off, and you look, and your trunk lid's down, and some of your stuff that was in here after you've hit a few bumps is down the highway maybe 75 miles away. Tell me that wouldn't irritate the fire out you. But this is what I do now. Get it right here. See, it's not shut. But listen. It's shut. Now, when you push this, hold that. But notice, this is down. And remember, before we lubricated this, When you press that button, this little up here, it was still up in there. It come down. You could watch it very, very slowly coming down. So by the time it got down, that thing might have vibrated a little bit, and this gun done past this groove, so it ain't locking into anything. It's done come up to here or something. You get to where you're going, your trunk lid's down. So it's a very simple fix for us. For me, this is what worked. Loosen your lock nut, turn this, eighth of a turn. Tighten that back down, try it. First thing I do is lubricate this thing first, though. And like I say, you can use that what you want to. We use this liquid wrench from Advance. You can probably get it anywhere. Shot it up in here, several good squirts, wipe that excess off. And then I squirted some right around the ring of this thing too. But so far, it's worked fine. You ain't got to try to slam the thing like you see on a lot of folks on Facebook say you got to slam it. You ain't got to slam it. You ain't got to slam it a bit. All you got to do is push it up. Listen, it's shut. Folks, I do hope this video has helped some of you. Remember now, this is what I did, Harvey and myself, to fix my trunk. Give it a shot. If not, I wish you the best luck. Just remember now, we pay too much money to be using duct tape or painter's tape to keep that trunk shut. Folks, I hope this video has helped you. It's the way Harvey and I fixed my trunk. So I want you to go out there. I want you to have some fun, but I want you to ride safe. So y'all take care. Bye now.